Thank you for visiting the channel. You'll find a variety of content here. And in order not to miss anything in the future, click the subscribe button. There's a little bell icon beside that. There will be a drop down when you click that. That says all, and you'll be notified anytime we post any new videos. You don't want to miss anything, and that's one way not to miss anything. Thank you for subscribing. Tell someone about our channel and enjoy the content.
The Washington Commanders, and I was just told the recipient of the 12th USAA NFL Salute to Service Award. You're the winner, Ron Rivera.
There you
go.
Thank
you. No, thank you guys. It's an honor as far as I'm concerned because of the fact that my father served 32 years in the United States military, and really my background as a kid growing up all over the United States, all over the world for the most part, you know, being in Fort Meade, Maryland, Fort Lewis, Washington, Fort Ord, California, you know, going to Fort Gulick, Panama, going to Heidelberg, Germany. You know, my education was through the military of the world. So very grateful, very honored, and really do appreciate USAA.
How much does, you know, we talk about it a lot with like football, it's got a military aspect of it,
Yes.
you know, yeah, I mean, how much does that carry over to you in your experience?
It carries over a lot to me because I've
Right.
had several military personnel come out and speak to us. You know, I've had lieutenant colonels, I've had 3-star admirals, 4-star generals come
Right.
and speak to our guys. I've had first sergeants who were double amputees who you know, lost both legs in Afghanistan come speak to our guys. And the biggest thing I've taken from those guys is about culture, building the right type of culture. And that is something I think that has helped us as we've gone through it, you know, whether I be in Carolina or now in Washington with the Commanders.
How has that helped you as well? Because I think you've done a great job of sealing off as best you can all the other stuff going on in the organization, because it trickles through to the
Yes.
players. They've talked about it.
Yes.
How do you use that experience to get them to forget about it, set it aside, and focus on the job as it stands for right now?
Because that's really what I learned from these guys is it's about the job at hand, the task at hand. You've got to be able to focus in on and make sure you understand what's important and what's interesting. I don't ever want to downplay the things that happen, but for us, we can't impact it, we can't change it. What we can do is focus on where we are right here and now. And that's the thing I think, credit to our players. They've been able to compartmentalize things, and you know, for 3 hours a game, just put it aside. For time to go into practice, be in that practice, being in meetings, being with your teammates. Those were the things that we preach to our guys, try to get them to stay focused. So we try to keep things separate.
Right, you guys always seem focused and ready to go. You know, you had a few wrinkles with like the
Yep.
quarterback situation this year. I'm always intrigued by this, Coach. I don't know if I've ever really asked a head coach this, but when you're thinking about, you know, Heineke, Carson Wentz, all of that, you know, how stressful are those decisions as head coach? Are you literally like eating dinner? Did you flip-flop a few times? Just kind of take us inside your brain there.
Well, you know, as we were going through this and really thinking about what we wanted to do with the offense, you know, get the ball out, get it going vertically, get it into the hands of our playmakers, and you know, and we felt we had a guy in Carson who could go vertical.
Right.
When we lost Carson after the Chicago game and we went to Taylor, now it was about getting to these guys' hands as quick as possible, and then relying on the running game as well to take some of the pressure off of Taylor,
Right.
instead of forcing him to make plays. And then you're right, you know, as we got later into the season and started thinking, you know, when's a good time to do that, make that move? That's always something you're always thinking about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, is it like it's just always? It's just like a pit in your stomach, and
Yes.
and then finally you just have a moment of clarity where you go, okay, I'm going to make this move.
Yes, you know, and that was really what came down to in trying to decide and giving Sam Howell the last shot in terms of starting and playing against Dallas, was going through that for a couple of days, trying to decide. A couple of times I thought, well, you know, I'm going to go back to Taylor, and then thought, well, you know, after talking to some folks, decision, you know, and helping me with my decision, finally going with Sam and giving him that opportunity to play against Dallas in the closer.
Right.
And now decisions need to be made moving forward. How much of Sam Howell's performance in that final regular season game helps you decide on what the path at the position is for 23?
Well, you know, to answer that, Mike, the biggest thing we decided is he will start off as QB1. He will most certainly get the first opportunity. We go into OTAs and minicamp, you know, he'll be QB1. He'll fight for that position. We'll give him every opportunity to earn it, and we'll see what happens once we get into training camp and through it.
And just so I understand what that means, because we've got, I think, an unprecedented quarterback musical chairs coming in
Yes.
free agency. You're not in that this year.
No,
You're out of it.
No, I think the biggest thing is, you know, is we have to find a guy to come in that's going to compete, But in terms of finding a guy that you're gonna have to spend a lot of capital on, no, we're not looking for a guy we're gonna spend a lot of capital on. We're looking for a guy who's gonna come in and compete first and foremost.
So exact opposite of last year when you guys called every team literally, which was smart. Let's find out who's available. That's not your business this year. It's Sam Howell with a veteran backup, which you'll sift it out once the music stops and the starter spots are all filled.
We want to find the right situation, a guy that can come in and be that supporting guy that can really help him grow and become the guy that gives you an opportunity to win football games.
All right, let's get to some fun stuff here, all right? Because you're a defensive guy, you played defensive football in the NFL, you were on the '85 Bears, you've been a great defensive coordinator, you're a defensive-minded head coach. Is the rules with the quarterback hits right now driving you crazy? Because it's driving me crazy. We call it nothing the passer instead of roughing the passer. How are you? To me, it's chopping a leg out from defensive coaches and the intimidation factor.
Yes, and that's one of the things that that's really kind of come throughout the entire game is we've tried and do the right thing, find the right ways to make it safer for everybody. But we also have to understand at some point the guy's going to take a hit. He's going to take a big hit, and no fault of the defensive player. So we just have to find that balance that says what that guy did is football, or what that guy did was beyond football.
Right.
Like I get the full body weight, and I'm talking about the full pick the guy up, turn and dump it.
Right.
But when you're just running a line stunt, let's say, and you win, you're completely free, and the next thing you know,
you're just hitting the guy.
You're hitting the guy.
Right.
We have to be able to find out what that balance is, because this is an entertaining game, and if the game is played the right way, and we've taken all the safeguards. Okay, and those things happen. That's part of football.
That's great. Yep.
Then let's do that.
So you feel like we've gone a little too far here?
I think we have. I think we have to find what that right line
medium
is. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and part of the problem too is the rule says expressly, when in doubt, throw the flag.
Yeah.
So if there's any doubt, they throw the flag, and I think that's one of the things that needs to be ironed out.
Well,
why do we rely on doubt being resolved in favor of saying, okay, I'm not sure what I saw, so it's roughing the passer?
Yeah, and I think that's where we have to be careful, because if it looks like it, okay, but it doesn't smell like it, maybe it's not.
Yeah,
so
right.
We have to really find, and maybe, who knows, maybe it's using technology, maybe being able to go back and saying, you know what, I have to challenge that. That has to be maybe a tool that we may have to go to.
Well, and there's been talk that's going to be on the table. It sounds like it's something you'd support.
I would most certainly like us to find the right solution to that and use the technology to help us. I mean, we had a game this year, a couple games that would have,
Well, that's my next question, because there's certain things you can't say publicly after a game like that, and you did a good job of restraining yourself. What happens behind the scenes generally when you feel like you've been on the wrong end of a bad call? What do you do?
What I'll do is I'll reach out to the league, and I know the people I should call, so I call the folks and I talk to them and say, look, this is something we have to be smart about. We have to be careful about, because with everything that's going on, and now betting's there, we've got to get this right. We've got to be careful, because the integrity is the most important thing, and that's something we have to be well aware of. So we've got to find a solution to make sure we're getting it right.
How do you feel about full-time officials? I'm sorry, I had to get that out.
I'd love to have full-time. I really would, just so these guys can constantly work their craft, constantly be focused in on what their job is and what they do in terms of this game, because it is really one of those things that that their decisions impact careers. They impact winning and losing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A lot of people at stake there with those decisions. All right, last one. Just because you're one of the 3 teams to beat the Eagles.
Okay.
Give us a little bit of a clue on what it takes to beat this team.
Well, remember, we're the one team that beat the Eagles with the same quarterback.
Oh, baby, I like it.
No, and again, I got tremendous respect for who Philadelphia is. I really do. And one of the things that we felt we had to do is we had to control the ball.
Right.
We had to control the clock. If Jalen Hurts is not on the field, it's hard for them to score. Now, their defense could score because they've got tremendous football players, but that was the thinking. So we ran the ball 49 times against them.
Phenomenal, I know.
And that was able to really kind of keep the game.
3rd and 4s, 3rd and 2s.
So if you can get yourself in that type of situation where there's quick throws that get the ball out of the quarterback's hands and guys going forward and keeping the clock going, that may be something that could be very beneficial.
Right. Coach, it's always great seeing you. Congratulations. 12th annual Salute to Service Award winner. It is Ron Rivera, 2-time NFL coach.
Thank you for visiting the channel. You'll find a variety of content here. And in order not to miss anything in the future, click the subscribe button. There's a little bell icon beside that. There will be a drop down when you click that. That says all, and you'll be notified anytime we post any new videos. You don't want to miss anything, and that's one way not to miss anything. Thank you for subscribing. Tell someone about our channel and enjoy the content.